I want you to tell me a great song that you think you're actually annoyed that other people don't know it. Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries. Welcome to another Saturday in the zombie Mercurial apocalypse. The last video, I said we were going to have a party in here, and I brought the beer. Some of you said you'd rather not drink at all or drink cider. It's fine. I like cider. I can handle not drinking at all. But we were going to listen to 6 albums, remember? The 3 I was bringing to the party were Midnight Snack by Home Shake, the Moose Bumps by Dr. Octagon, and of course, you knew I was going to pick it, and I did pick it, Highway to Hell by AC/DC, just because it's just the best album for just... Look, it's not about drinking, it's just about hanging out together in this very small space, probably sweating, probably exchanging bodily fluids, but not sexually. That's the albums I was going to bring. I told you to bring some to the party, right? And you did, and you came up with some... great ideas. I'll admit, you came up with some albums that I've never heard of, and it's quite tricky to consider the idea of listening to albums that you don't know, to have fun. There is something fun about listening to music you've never heard before, but I think you probably need something familiar as well. Some of the albums that you guys are going to bring for our party together. Aiden's going to bring Babble by Baked Beans. Baked Beans, is that another Flightless band? Not sure. High Visceral Part 1 by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. You guys are constantly wanting me to listen to the Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. I've got to say the band name, along with Tropical Storm. There's some great band names coming from Australia. And Nature Strip by Traffic Island. I've never heard of any of those albums. Toby Robinson, Crooked Rain, The Satanic Majesty's Second Request. I like the Brian Jonestown Massacre when I'm watching the Dig documentary. I bought an album of theirs once, so I think it was like Who Killed Sergeant Pepper. But I think there's certain bands, and I was discussing this with Explosive Notes recently as well, there's certain bands that I enjoy watching the documentaries about them more than I enjoy listening to their music. Metallica's one of them. I could listen to I could watch Some Kind of Monster 100 times. When it comes to actually listening to their music, meh. Cannibal Corpse, documentary, music, meh. Brian Jonestown Massacre, just bring it over. You're bringing Revolver as well. Nick Pollard's bringing prog rock. Evil White Clown Punk is bringing along some rock. Claw Carver's going for a kind of proggy metal fest. Joey Cabrera is bringing a couple of albums I've never heard of, but he's also bringing along Houses of the Holy by Zeppelin. Josh Blackman is bringing the Avalanches. Now he's bringing Wildflower, but the only Avalanches song I know is the one that was massive on MTV back along. Since I Left You. Was it called Since I Left You? Now, I was tempted, because I'm only picking one of you for this party. Only one of you gets to bring the 3 albums, all right? I was tempted with Josh, it's just because he's bringing the Strokes. Is this it? And I thought, yes! Certainly, the Strokes goes well with Highway to Hell, I think. Colty Walty, he's bringing the Slow Rush by Tim Impala, but he's also bringing Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I could imagine listening to that in here with you now. Why not? Sam Bell's bringing Dark Side of the Moon. He's also bringing some Porcupine Tree. Now, I liked Steve Wilson's The Raven That Refused to Sing, but I've never listened to Porcupine Tree. Do you reckon I'd like Porcupine Tree if I liked Steve Wilson? It's got to be a given, doesn't it? The Machinima is going to bring me the Avalanches Since I Left You. And Can. Now, I listened to Gong recently. Is Can along the same lines as Gong? There's just so many bands out there. When people say, Mercurial number 6, I can't believe you haven't listened to this. I can't believe you haven't listened to that. Do you realise there's as many bands as there are stars in the sky and grains of sand on a beach? Rudy Sanchez. For a moment, I was thinking about inviting you because you'd gone for Disintegration by The Cure. And I love Hot Fuss by the Killers as well. The problem is, 2 men alone together in a small room listening to Disintegration by The Cure. We're probably going to end up licking each other's tears. So, sorry, you're not invited. Gerg. I don't know how you pronounce it. Wants to bring the microphones, LCD sounds. He always wants to bring LCD sound system. And Frank Zappa. I think there's definitely something to be said for me listening to more Frank Zappa. I listened to bits and pieces in my teens. I kind of went for a period. I was listening to early Alice Cooper and Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart. I think there's a moment in your life where you want to kind of be different and obscure and outrageous. And then you eventually settle into listening to The Highway to Hell. You'll all be me one day. Angry Panda has an interesting mix of the OCs and Metallica. Aaron McDonald, I considered you for a second because I must be one of the only people out there who hasn't really invested a lot of time listening to Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. And when you wanted to bring Is This It by The Strokes as well, tempting, that's all I'll say, tempting. Podrick says he'll bring Catch a Fire, maybe even my Zippo cover one. The Wailers' Catch a Fire, I don't think I know it. I don't think I've ever listened to it. What songs are on The Wailers' Catch a Fire? Shh. Sorry. The Wailers' Catch a Fire, 1973. Concrete Jungle, Slave Driver, 400 Years, Stop That Train. Baby, We've Got a Date, Rocket Baby, Stir It Up. Stir it up. Stir it up. Ding, 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 ding. Stir it up. Ding. Okay. I'll shut up now. Kinky Reggae. No More Trouble, Midnight Ravers. I think I'd like, from what I've heard of that era of reggae, I really like it. And I like the fact, and people don't really talk about this a lot. In fact, they might not talk about it ever. Or they might talk about it all the time. I don't know. But there's something about the spirit of reggae, even if you're not a reggae fan, that has comparisons to the spirit of punk. Oh, Mr. Floyd's probably frantically typing on his keyboard now saying, what the hell are you talking about, Mercurial number 6? I don't know. That's just what I think. It's what I think. Jack wants to bring in A Silent Way. You know I love that album. We could make sweet, non-sexual music to that album. David Mason wants to bring Morrison Hotel, Siamese Dream, Portishead. I haven't listened to Siamese Dream for decades. And Morrison Hotel is the only Doors album I never actually physically owned. So I've listened to it less than any of the other albums. And yet when I hear it, I just think it's mwah! Christian wants to bring, amongst other things, Tranquility Base Hotel by Arctic Monkeys. JMRD Who. Your usernames. You want something snappy like The Mercurial number 6. It's definitely going to bring The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And the Lamb lies down on Broadway. Copyright strike. Easy Peasy says, you've painted yourself into a corner on this one, mate. He thinks he's got a captive audience here. He's going to, just me and him. So he's going to buy 2 extra copies so he can bring 3 times over the Atlantis Philharmonic. Because he wants me to listen to that. And so I did. I listened to Atlantis Philharmonic. I listened to it through. I put it on. I had a very long shower. The bathroom is becoming one of my favourite places to listen to music now. That's weird. I've become one of those people. Maybe that person. And I liked it. It's an early 70s prog rock album. Pretty much helmed by one person, 2 people in the band. Later joined by a guitarist, I think. And they actually recorded another album a couple of years later featuring the additional guitarist that didn't get released for like 30, 40 years. So it's one of these bands that mainly has one album. Like Jeff Buckley. There'll be other stuff out there, but basically they've got one album, the Atlantis Philharmonic. And I would suggest, now that I've heard it, that those of you out there who like Yes and Genesis and Pink Floyd, give it a listen. For me, instrumentally, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. If I had to put my finger on why they weren't necessarily successful, well, they had an album out that I've just listened to, I mean, that's successful enough. But if I had to put my finger on why they might not have been successful as other bands, I think it's probably because they didn't have a Peter Gabriel or a Dave Gilmour or a John Anderson singing. For me, the vocals are the weak part. But instrumentally, yeah. Easy peasy. I finally listened to it. And I thought it was good. But no, you can't come because you can't bring the same album 3 times. It's silly. Just silly. Piero Caprian wants to bring you a bit of Childish Gambino. I like the only song I've ever heard by him, which I think was called This Is America. I liked that. So I have the feeling that I might like other stuff by him. Prabjot Kang wants to bring me Gorillaz, Radiohead, but he wants to bring me he wants us to listen to Björk's Vespertine. Now that's an album that I liked but never invested enough time with. Is that really an album for beer in a room together? I'm not sure. You tell me. Harry Plays the Drums wants to bring me Station to Station, Master of Reality, and To Be Kind. The Swans are a band I need to listen to because I've heard nothing but good about them, and yet I haven't heard a single second. I think they're one of those bands, aren't they, that the Fantano keeps banging on about, along with Death Grips. Oliver Wade wants to bring Animals by Pink Floyd. That's an album that Floyd fans are always going on about, and yet it's never caught me. It's never caught me like Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon did. To be fair, The Wall never really caught me either, apart from, I think, one of the greatest singles, weirdly, considering this is Pink Floyd, one of the greatest singles of all time is Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. Zach wants to bring Pink Floyd as well, Animals. Hammy wants to bring Judas Priest. He wants to bring The Doors, LA Woman. That is an album for 2 blokes sitting in a room drinking beer together. Not sexually, definitely. Joseph Dredd would have brought Autobahn by Kraftwerk. Pork Soda, that's an interesting choice. That's a difficult album. And Supreme Clientele by Ghostface Killer. Don't know it. Thomas Burns would like to bring A Walk Across the Rooftops by the Blue Nile. 22 A Million by Bon Iver. Bon Iver? Bon Iver. Bon Iver? Bon Iver. Bon Iver? Bon Iver. Bon Iver? Bon Iver. Geneva? Beyonce? And The Now Now by Gorillaz. I've never heard of it. Has the Gorillaz got an album called The Now Now? There's too much music. There's too much music. How am I supposed to listen to all of that when I'm listening to this? Cobster 911 wants to bring Krangbin. Well, everything I've heard so far by Krangbin I've liked. I am a fan. Yeah. We spoke about it in a couple of videos ago. The wigs. It's all fake. But I like fake. I do. In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. I think even mentioning King Crimson's name in here will get me a copyright block. So be careful. Gregor Special says we should be chilling in here. We should be listening to chill music. She's going to bring Mac DeMarco's 2, The Smiths' Queen is Dead, and Animal Collective's Merryweather Post Pavilion. I think Animal Collective's Merryweather Post Pavilion was an album I was kind of addicted to for a long time. So that's a good choice. You're almost making it. By the way, everyone I've mentioned so far, you haven't made it. You didn't win. Shh. There's no prize. It doesn't matter if you didn't win. Daniel Sinnott, you didn't win. You're not coming. Ezra Furman's Perpetual Motion People to get the party started. Then BC Camplights, How to Die in the North for beautiful melodies and to mellow things out a bit. And then to finish, we'll have Father John Misty's I Love You Honey Bear, a great drunk sing-along album. Unfortunately, as soon as we start playing that on the turntable, the copyright police will come in and nick parts of my soul. Yurish Kozlov wants to bring I'm in Your Mind Fuzz, Jane Doe and Karate. You want to bring Converge's Jane Doe? I loved the Something Within Us. No, what was it called? There was a Converge album. It had like a mirrored cover on it that I liked. The Something Within Us. Oh, doesn't matter. Anyway, apparently Jane Doe's supposed to be good as well. You guys, probably you in fact, said Jane Doe was better. MHTF wants to bring Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain. That's another vote for Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain. So two people got Crooked Rain under their arms. The Pixies, Doolittle, and Georges Benjour, A Tabua de Esmeralda. Not a clue, but I think I'm going to like it. I think I'm going to like that one. I think I might try and give that one a listen. Seeps is going to bring the Hosiers. This Old Dog, Wild and Mind. And yes, Seeps, I thought Midnight Snack by Homeshake was superb. Foggy Riders Inc. would have brought Offspring's the Claypool Lennon Delirium, but he doesn't own them on vinyl, so he's actually going to bring the Mystery Lights and Orb. He wants me to listen to Orb. I'll try and listen to Orb at some point. Hecicus, Doomicus, Wizardus would like to bring 1,000 Gex, Year of the Snitch, Little Dark Age. That would be good. I'd enjoy that. Daniel would cheat and bring 3 very long albums like Mothership. I understand. Fishy Paw's going to bring Physical Graffiti. Yeah. That would work. I think Physical Graffiti and Highway to Hell, they would go well together, I think. Stimproid would bring 3 Bandmade albums. Yeah, I need to go back and listen to some more Bandmade. I listened to a great female-fronted band yesterday, Control Top. Fantastic. That kind of Bandmade spirit. There's some really heavy music coming from these women at the moment. They are giving the men a run for their money when it comes to getting slapped across the ass with the wet table tennis bat. Unpronounceable name says we'd start weird with Absolutely Free by Zappa, and then we just rock with the James Gang Rides Again, and then we'd go into Introducing by DJ Shadow. Oh, Introducing by DJ Shadow. Driving in the 90s in my crappy little Metro in the night time with cute girl by my side, Introducing by DJ Shadow playing. It was almost perfect until it wasn't. But the winner, the person who's invited for a beer and 3 albums, to bring the 3 albums along, is David Wilde, who's going to bring Duke by Genesis, The Software Slump by Grandaddy, and Purple Rain by Prince. I don't know what it was. I need to listen to Duke by Genesis, so it's convenient you're bringing it over. But I don't own anything by Prince. And apart from me thinking he's one of the greatest guitar players ever, and thinking that his solo during that celebrity While My Guitar Gently Weeps thing with Tom Petty and that was probably the greatest guitar solo played live ever. When I listen to songs like Purple Rain, I think I'm sure I could be a Prince fan. For me, I prefer the songs he wrote for other people or that other people covered. I think like Manic Monday by the Bangles is one of my favourite ever songs, and Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. But yeah, Duke by Genesis, The Software Slump by Grandaddy, Purple Rain by Prince. Next question. This is today's question. What song do you absolutely adore? And it doesn't have to be obscure. A song that you adore, that you know is classic, you know is tremendous, is so good that you could probably put it in your top 10 songs of all time. And a song that you think if other people heard it, they put it in their top 10 songs of all time. Doesn't need to be weird, doesn't need to be obscure. But a song that you think is great, but you've never heard anyone else ever mention to your face ever in your life. You're sure you could go out onto the street and say to someone and they wouldn't know what you're talking about. And also, probably a song that you could mention here in my comment section that other people wouldn't know about. However, when we do listen to it, we're going to also think, wow, that's good. That's good. That's what I want you to know. I want you to tell me a great song that you think you're actually annoyed that other people don't know it. My song is by Tim Buckley. It's called Love from Room 109 at the Islander on Pacific Coast Highway. I think it's a phenomenal song. It's a song that blows me away every time I hear it, and yet no one ever mentions it. It might be because it's got an unpronounceable name. Anyway, that's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Accept it, don't accept it. Over and